A lot of times people, when they look at a home, they just say, oh, it feels good. Well, is this a good financial investment for the family? John, this is ridiculous. What's going on with our city? All this activity, traffic. And I'm like, wow, I come up here. I think this is peaceful. My first listing, I said, why did I end up getting the listing? And he's like, when we left, we walked you out to your car. And I noticed that you drove a car that was normal. And he's like, I thought that was good because I knew that you cared about my home versus trying to be flashy.
You hear a lot of stuff about Buckhead, especially recently. What is it like there? What is it day to day? What is Buckhead like nowadays? On this episode of The Key, we have John Bailey. John is a real estate agent based out of Buckhead, Georgia. He's basically taken over the Buckhead market in real estate, and he's such a fun guy to talk to. He really has a lot of insights in real estate. He's been doing it for a long time. He has his own brokerage. So if you want to get to know a little bit more about John, stick around. You won't want to miss it. Without further ado, let's talk to John. So tell me about your journey. You're a very successful real estate agent. You have your own brokerage. Mm-hmm. Tell me about getting into real estate. What was it about real estate initially that got you interested and started in that?
So for me, real estate has been part of our, I would say, family for many, many years. My family members, such as my sister, Marcia Reese, who's with a brokerage over in Snellville, Gwinnett area. She started back in the 80s with Johnny Isison's firm, Northside Brokers. And then watching her, Century 21, and then moving into Remax, Keller Williams, and where she's at today, it just was inspirational. I love real estate, and working during high school hours, after hours, would come and work with her and help her.
Oh, wow.
Literally cool. Bring, real estate to color brochures, to having them printed out with her computers versus taking them with a photo. So you're in the photo business, right?
Yeah.
And, back when I started working with her, literally you would print us 4x6 photos. We would sit those on a brochure and stick them in the brochure box or sit them in front of the home, inside the home. I said, hey, let's go online. Let's have a website.
Yeah.
What's a website? People were wondering about that. And so we were very forward thinking there. And then from there, went to University of Florida, studied finance, economics, and also real estate. And it just is something that I truly enjoy. I like the fact of being able to feel and touch the product. In commercial real estate, you're looking for numbers. In residential, which is what I ultimately chose to focus on after graduation and getting into real estate full time, it's helping folks take on one of the probably the largest financial decision of their lives. It's a very important decision for most folks. And I just enjoy that path. I enjoy taking things I learned at the University of Florida in commercial real estate learning to bring it to residential. And I think that's very important because a lot of times people, when they look at a home, they just say, oh, it feels good. Well, is this a good financial investment for the family? And during the recession of 2007 to 11, in that time frame, many of my clients who we sold homes to, the majority of them all stayed in their homes. Very few of them had to move out of their homes for financial distress. And a lot of that, I think, had to do with us helping them select a home that fit them budgetly well.
Yeah.
Help them find the right lender. Because a lot of times when people haven't bought a home, just like buying a car, oh, what's the payment? Well, it doesn't mean you can afford it. Let's talk about what are the things that are involved in owning the home.
Right.
And that's the step that we take. And one of the reasons why I love what I do. It's just you're helping those folks and helping them not avoid a financial mishap.
Right.
Is a part of doing a great job, I believe, as a real estate professional and a realtor.
You're in Buckhead right now. You're kind of taking over Buckhead.
We're in Buckhead. We're in Metro Atlanta.
How have you seen Buckhead change over the years since you started? Were you always in Buckhead? This episode, just like every episode, is brought to you by Visually Sold. If you're a real estate agent in the greater Atlanta area, you need professional listing photos for your listings. Visually Sold is the best solution. I'm a little biased, but it's true. A few things you need to know. We do photos, video, drone, 3D scans, and we even write your listing descriptions for you. Yes, you heard that right. We deliver everything in 24 hours, so the very next morning you'll have all of the content that you ordered. All of our photographers are employees. They're not contractors. We give them all the same exact camera equipment to use for the photo shoots, so you can expect the same great results no matter which of our team members comes to your listing. You can book your shoot on our website in under 2 minutes. Just go to our website, vs.photos. Just type that into your URL, boopily boop, vs.photos, and you can book a shoot in under 2 minutes. So thank you again to Visually Sold for sponsoring this podcast. Now let's get to the show.
So when I moved back to start my career in real estate, I had a job in New York for Morgan Stanley. Okay. Chose to move to Atlanta after school to start in real estate instead of taking that job.
Wow.
Part of it was my father was a big influential aspect of that. And he said, John, Atlanta is getting ready to blow up. He's like, get in the car. Let's go down and have a hot dog at the Varsity.
Smart man.
Which, Varsity was a good time. And we drove around and I said, wow, they're building the condo building, Metropolis, which was coming out of the ground at the time. It sold out in just a few days. That was a phenomenal developer. And they kept on going. And I said, wow, this is fun. It feels good. I had some other friends that were going to law school at Georgia State, and they were like, hey, come on down and hang out at our place. Let's go out tonight, catch the Braves game. And I said, this is great. I don't want to move to New York where I'll have no money and literally start from nothing. And I want to have something that we can build a business and help folks. And so real estate, I think, really opened up that avenue for me. I knew I could apply the skills I learned from the commercial learning aspect of University of Florida and finance and bringing that into residential. Got involved with the local Chamber of Commerce downtown, learned about what the mayor was doing at the time. Shirley Franklin was doing a lot of phenomenal things in town Atlanta. Progress Atlanta was doing some great things with getting activity going in Midtown, downtown. And it was just really exciting. So I decided to stay here and get going full time and making things happen. So talking back to how has Buckhead in town changed, I would say that we went from a growth stage of just, hey, things are starting. You have loft buildings that were being converted from office to loft to now all of that's gone. And developers, instead of taking a building parking lot and building something on it, they're knocking down buildings now. If you drive downtown, Midtown, Buckhead, you see skyscrapers going up left and right for with cranes outside, which is office, residential. Most of the residential right now, unfortunately, it is apartments, just because after the Great Recession, the developers weren't able to get financing easily for the mid-range condo price range. So because of that, they're apartments, and at some point I do believe that they'll probably convert some of those at a later date to condominium living.
Oh, really? You think
that's usually the process. After say 5 to 7 years, the REIT gets the money out of it. Let's convert it. The other thing that's going on too is in the high-rise developments that you see in town, most of those are $1 million plus luxury condos, and then you have a lot of infill housing going, which instead of taking the whole lot, they're subdividing the lot. So just a lot of infill going on. The price points have really increased in town. I think we're still, compared to bigger cities that are up north, affordable in town. I have clients that come down from some of the larger cities up north, and they're like, John, this is still cheap real estate. As Atlantans, I think we look at it and say, oh my gosh, this is a ton of money. My family used to have a house over there and they sold it for this, and I can't believe they're asking double now. I think that people want to live in town, but they also want to live up 400. They want to live towards up 75 and Canton and places like that, Woodstock areas. But Atlanta's a great place. I mean, I love Atlanta, very bullish on Atlanta. We have the best, largest airport in the world. And we have companies wanting to move here for affordability reasons for their workforce. And I'm very happy to be a part of the Atlanta real estate market.
It's funny, you said largest airport in the world. What I've learned recently is that it's the busiest airport in the world. It's not actually by size the largest, which I think says something about the efficiency. Like, imagine, it's not even the largest, but it is the busiest. It has the most people, most flights out of any airport in the world. with not the largest space, which is really impressive to me. It's like, think about all the logistics that goes into that. Like, I just learned that recently. I thought that was really interesting.
It's a great airport, and I can say this: we have also an office down in St. Simons that we opened up in 2021, and
Oh, cool.
I love St. Simons. A lot of Atlantans love St. Simons, and the thing that people who live down there full time miss that used to live here in Atlanta are like, John, the connectivity of the flights.
Yeah.
In Atlanta, you can go anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And when you start moving farther out, I think we're very thankful, and sometimes we take it for granted because we can literally get anywhere in the world directly from our airport. Because places like that, for example, you have to fly into Atlanta or do a change, or go down to Jacksonville or go down to Savannah's airport there, and then probably fly into Atlanta or go up towards New York or somewhere like that to get.
I definitely take that for granted. Whenever I'm looking at flights, I'm like, all right, Atlanta to so-and-so. And it's just like a direct, like I never even think about that. I'm like, I just kind of expect it at this point because I take it for granted for sure. I'm sure a lot of Atlantans do too.
On-demand lifestyle nowadays.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Let's go.
For real. So you hear a lot of stuff about Buckhead, especially recently. What is it like there? What is it day to day? What is Buckhead like nowadays?
So my office is in the heart of Buckhead. I also ran for state office for House District 54 last year.
I'd love to talk about that too.
And I would say that Buckhead is evolving. There's going to be people out there that have lived there for many years. And I think when somebody has lived somewhere for a while and something new comes to the neighborhood, it's just not the same as it used to be. I think that as somebody who lives in Buckhead currently and who has a business literally in the heart of the financial district, I love the activity that's happening with people on the streets and seeing what's going on. There is an element of crime anytime a city grows. And I think that's the part of living in Atlanta that has been challenging for a lot of us that have lived there for a while, that are more, I would say, if you've been here more than 10 years, you're from Atlanta now.
Yeah.
It's hard to adjust to, because when I first started moving here, when I first moved here, you could literally walk from the downtown Buckhead to home and not even think about it.
Yeah.
I think today you need to be more cautious of that, because there's an element of crime that's there in a larger city, just like in New York City, for example.
Yeah.
When I worked up there interning, my father, who was from New York, he was very cautious. He's like, John, be careful coming home at night. Don't walk down the sidewalks or the side alleys, because stuff can happen.
Yeah.
And one of my professors was from New York, and he said the same thing. And he said, yeah, a guy got shot, in front of me one night because I took the side street versus the main street. And stuff happens. So I think that, see something, say something, be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of great things that are happening in the city. Good thing about a city is it creates opportunity for folks. And sometimes when people get frustrated about the traffic and things, my dad would bring this back and said, traffic is opportunity. It means stuff is happening. And if we put it in perspective like that, if you want to see the cultural arts and the shows and the concerts and the football, the baseball, the college things, you have to put up with some of that. And that's just part of living in the city. If you want to have a more quiet lifestyle, a lot of our clients will move to OTP. Alpharetta is a phenomenal place, up to 100, booming. Homes there downtown go for several $1 million now.
Yeah.
People from Alpharetta I've met with them, and they're like, John, this is ridiculous. What's going on with our city? All this activity, traffic. And I'm like, wow, I come up here, I think this is peaceful.
Yeah.
So
compared to Atlanta, it is. Yeah.
I love Atlanta. I love Alpharetta. I love wherever I'm at. I love being here today on your studio. I mean, this is a beautiful place you have here. But I think Buckhead is a growing place. Can we do better? Yes. I think the mayor has his hands full with reestablishing the capacity of the police force. I can say this. I'm on the MPUB. I serve on that for my community, Buckhead Heights. And every month we have all the police departments come and report for the area, the fire department, the MARTA department come. And the biggest thing that they say is, we're out doing our job. However, when we do our job, unfortunately, a lot of the people do get out quickly because of some of the judicial system issues. And, that's another topic probably for another day.
Yeah.
But I think that, we just have to be smart. I mean, I don't walk around Buckhead flashing jewelry or anything that looks expensive.
Sure.
I don't drive my car and leave stuff exposed because it could be an opportunity.
It's common sense stuff, though.
It's just part of living in the city. I think
Yeah.
if you want to live in the city, that's the fun of living there. I can say that you meet a lot of interesting people. Every day I'm meeting people that are coming by my office and looking to buy, looking to lease.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's just friends stopping by and say, hey, I work across the street. I'm coming by for lunch up the street. Just saw you're here. Want to come in and say hello. I mean, we're in the business of knowing people and helping people connect. And I like that energy. That's very important.
So I can tell by the way that you talk about him that your dad is a big inspiration in your life, that you guys are very tight. Tell me about that. Like, how has that impacted you?
So my dad it's his birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Mr. Bailey.
I would say he's turning 90. So I'm the youngest in the family.
Wow.
And he is very important to me because when I was younger, my mom passed away when I was around 7 years old, 7 years old. And she had breast cancer. And we spent a lot of time at the hospitals. He was there every day of her life in the hospital with her. And I was there most of the time when I wasn't in school, spending time with mom and dad. And as a father, and I'm also a father, and congrats on
congratulations to
we
you,
both
by
are
the
new
way.
fathers.
More recently, yeah.
After having a child now, and he's a junior, I mean, to me, we have a chance to mold somebody, and it's up to us to help that, the baby grow into an adult and into hopefully a great person will contribute to society. And my dad has given me a lot of inspiration, and he was a tough dad. He was somebody that said, look, John, you have to learn it and do it the right way. He instilled good values ethically to make sure that it doesn't matter if it's a penny, don't take it. I mean, if it's not yours, you don't take it.
Yeah.
In today's society, I wish we had more of that. But no, he's very influential, and he's older now, but the stories and the things that I had to see when he was much younger in a much more active business life, and he's always been an entrepreneur too, has helped me grow our business, which is real estate and John Bailey Realty, into a phenomenal organization and a place where our clients are very well taken care of, and they become clients for life. A lot of my clients, literally, we help them buy and sell. We even have clients that will call me away from Metro Atlanta to go out and help them look at property outside of Atlanta. In Madison, for example, we have a new listing.
Wow.
Over by Lake Oconee, we have a new listing because they respect what we do, and they say, John, we want the very best handling our property and making sure that it's being marketed, and that when it does get negotiated, it comes back. So I would say that's a lot of the reason why we're able to do what we do, because Dad taught me a lot, and I appreciate that.
It's very apparent. It really is. And that's I think a lot of people don't have that too. I think it plays such a big part in our lives of, having such a strong father figure in our lives. It really is so important. You went to school in Florida, I heard, and your dad is from New York. Where did you grow up?
Good question there. I was born in Tennessee, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
A new state. We're adding a new state. Okay.
My dad and mom were getting ready to travel and do a lot of great things, and here comes John Bailey as a surprise. And I think they made the best of that surprise, because my dad's like, John, you've been the best surprise I could have ever had in life.
Yeah.
And then from there, my grandparents had moved down to St. Petersburg, Florida, and they were getting older, and my father thought it would be a good idea to move to help take care of them, to be closer by them, plus give me a chance to know my grandparents. And then from there, we lived down there until I was about 16 years old. And then right after the Olympics, we moved up to Atlanta, Gwinnett County. And from there, went to high school out in Gwinnett County, to a wonderful school called Shiloh High School. Go Generals. And shout out to the Generals.
Shout out to the Generals.
And then from there, decided to go to University of Florida. And part of the reason was I had a lot of friends that went to Georgia. I had friends that went to other Southern, colleges. Had a dream to get into Harvard, which and University of Pennsylvania. Got the application. It was a little long, and during during the application process. I think that we wrote all the letters of recommendations for all the different schools. And I don't know, I think University of Florida, I think Fun in the Sun, Coach Spurrier was there at the time. It was a place that it was a little farther away that I could just kind of grow into who I was or who I will be as an adult. And I liked that. And from there, great time, 4 years down there, graduated within the 4-year plan, studied a lot, learned a lot, met a lot of great people, got very involved with student government down there, and in some other organizations to help young folks, to mentor them who were in elementary schools and things like that were in issues of having, life challenges and stuff.
Yeah.
And then that kind of brought me back up to Atlanta, interned up in New York for the summer before I graduated, got a great job with Morgan Stanley, also had an offer from New York Stock Exchange, decided to go with Morgan Stanley for career opportunity. But then when I got back to Atlanta, my dad was like, hey, let's
Then it was like
check
no
out
looking
Atlanta.
back. Yeah.
And I was like, why would I want to go there and not have anything? And here I can have a beautiful condo and lifestyle and grow a business.
For a fraction of the price of New
That's
York.
right. All my friends from New York, when they come to visit, they're like, John, this place is multi-million-dollar. I said, well, not in Atlanta. It's a good value. So come on down if you're still up in New York.
Yeah, there you go. I love asking people about their first listing. So I know you said you did some in commercial first, right? Was that right?
So back in college, we studied commercial. Like we did full narrative appraisals, looking at apartment communities, looking at IRRs and cap rates, things that are all spreadsheet driven.
Yeah.
Like literally, when you buy commercial real estate, it's a spreadsheet driven transaction.
Yeah.
Of course, location, stuff like that, but it's literally numbers. I mean, somebody has an amount of money, let's do it. If it makes sense on the spreadsheet. If not, let's go look at the next property.
There's not really a lot of emotion involved in that.
No emotion. Not for the typical deal. But yeah, residential, my first listing was a really nice couple up in Roswell, Georgia. And
right around here.
Yeah. I love Roswell. And it was a nice family. And the gentleman, I said, why did I end up getting the listing? And he said, John, your energy was huge. He's like, I really felt passionate about the energy that you had for our home. You didn't just come in here and just sit and tell us a story and do this, do that. And he's like, when we left, we walked you out to your car, and I noticed that you drove a car that was normal. And I said, well, thank you. I work hard, and it was a Volkswagen at the time. I think a Passat or Jetta, one of those two. I had both at one point. And he's like, I thought that was good because I knew that you cared about my home versus trying to be flashy.
Wow.
And trying to pretend maybe that you have this or that. And at that time, I think a lot of people, and even in today's world, a lot of people who are in the business will drive a lot of flashy cars, but they don't always back up the flash with the actual action. And he said, I think you're going to work hard for me. And he was right. We got that property sold, and he was actually traveling overseas with his family right after we got it listed, and literally we're faxing the contract back and forth.
Yeah,
to get signatures.
Process now.
Foreign process. And he was like, we sold it while I was away. And I said, that's how we do business. I mean, we want to work hard for our clients.
Yeah.
And we held the open house. I love open houses, by the way. I still love open houses. I think it's a great way to meet folks and tell the story of the home. It's not just a house, it's a home that we're selling, and helping the potential buyer find that wonderful property and see themselves in the property.
Yeah.
But yeah, phenomenal couple. Ended up helping them find another property for them to move into. And we've stayed in touch, and they're my first, listing client. If you want to talk to my first buyer, I can tell you about that too.
That's awesome. What a cool story. I love that you remember so much about it too, that I feel like that the reason, what he said to you really stuck with you, I think. It seems like.
If this means anything, the picture is literally on the wall above my desk.
Fantastic.
And I look at it every day of me standing in front of the sign, in front of that home, because I want to remember where we came from.
I love it.
And that's very important.
You mentioned open houses and that you did one there and you still do them today. Mm-hmm. What are some tips? What are some things that you do that makes an open house successful? Like what makes a good open house?
A good open house is that you have to create marketing to get people through the door, and you had to create excitement. It's a show. When you sell a home, or in the case of us selling the home, it's about creating action and creating excitement, because yes, people say supply is low right now. There's still opportunities of homes. We can get in the car right now and drive around, look at home after home after home. But why should you buy our listing, which is who I work for? When I get hired, I'm going to be working for our client. And our job is to get their home sold before the competition. So creating the excitement using social media, I believe in signage around the community is still important.
Yeah.
A lot of folks think that, just put a sign in the front yard, stick a balloon up. I social media'd it everywhere. Everyone's going to show up. But there's also people in the neighborhood, and there's all different age groups. We have to remember that somebody that's on a younger generation that's just on social media, and that's how they look for homes. They're on an app looking for homes. Oh, it popped up, open house, let's go look at it. But there's also other people who, for example, somebody like my father, he's not on social media, but he might have a friend or a family member that would be interested in living just down the street from him. He's not going to know if you don't let people know about it. So I think letting people know, and I think a good effort of that is billboards. If that business wasn't successful, you wouldn't see billboards and people
everywhere.
So I think creating that momentum, and then when the home is shown, being there and ready and attentive, dressed properly, looking like a professional, because this home, it's a privilege to show a home to a prospective buyer, not just say, I'm here for an open house, sign in, look around, let me know if you have any questions. I mean, you need to be selling the home. And I think that's something that is an art that is very important when you're hiring a professional agent or realtor, is, making sure they know how to sell and sell your home and have the passion behind it. Just because that first listing, he was like, John, I felt the excitement that you had for my home. I walk in, and if I walk into a listing, I walked into one the other day and I didn't feel the excitement. I don't need to get listed every property I walk into. I'm looking for the right fit of client so that we can put our system in place to properly sell their property.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a good fit. And I said, hey, I'm not the right agent for what you're looking for. I wish you best of luck. And, if you need a couple referrals, happy to give you a couple referral agents. But you got to be excited and passionate about what you do. And I love what I'm doing, but I want to feel that too with the home.
That's integrity too, right there. That really is, knowing when to walk away, and knowing when it's not the right one, and knowing that you may not be the right agent for this listing, and having the discipline to say, it's not, I want to do the best that I can do for you, and this is not it. I just know it's not it. I think that's really difficult, especially for a lot of real estate agents, because a lot of them sort of take what they can get. You know what I mean? Like, which makes sense, because it is really like survival of the fittest out there. They're not just going to come your way. You know what I mean? Unless you work for a brokerage that gives you listings, they're not going to come your way. So you got to fight for it. You
fight, but I do believe that if you put in the time and build up your reputation, listings will come your way, and clients do come your way. I think that, again, it's about offering value. And if we're in the business of service, it is literally service. And if we can't offer value to our clients, they're not going to hire us. I mean, personally, I don't want to get paid a commission if I'm not able to offer value. If you don't feel like I've offered you value for the sale of your home, I don't deserve to be the one to be listing or even taking the commission. And that's how we get paid. I mean, we get paid 100% by the amount of work that we do.
Right.
But I want to feel like I've earned it, not just, stuck it in the system. I'm amazing. No, that's not how this game is. This game is about providing level of great service, and then ultimately maximizing the value for that owner. I mean, is it days on market they're looking to have minimal days? Is it more money? What are they looking to maximize out of the sale to make sure it's a transition for their family that makes sense for them? Because every client's different. Every family is different.
Yeah, that's for sure. It is such a, it's hard to make real estate, I feel, a system, right? Because everybody's different. Everybody has different needs, different desires. Every listing is, some parts of it may be the same. It might be the same floor plan that you've seen in another condo or something like that, or another house. Might be the same thing, but it's that person, the buyer you're looking for, the seller you're working with, is always different. So it's very much we were speaking to Zach Payne the other day on the podcast, and he was saying we were talking about AI and how, everybody's afraid of AI taking over, too many things and not being so much of a tool, but it's sort of becoming the main thing. Like it's doing the work for a lot of people. And, we were talking about how, real estate is, I think, safe from a lot of that. And I think the foundation of real estate is that relationship that humans have to have and have to bring in real estate, because it's so unique. Everything is so different. Each listing is so different and so tailored that I think it's kind of safe in that way, right? AI might be a cool tool to use for certain things, and it might help a lot. It might change a lot of things. You might be able to enter a prompt in somewhere and say, I'm looking for this house, this style house with, and I need it because of this. And it might be able to show you something, but from there, it requires humans. Even after that, it really requires people working together and relationship building to make that final transaction happen.
And for all my computer friends out there, I'm going to have to say this. I believe the human mind is far superior to any computer in the world.
Yeah.
And I think that if we remember that as agents and realtor professionals, there will always be plenty of business.
Yeah.
Because the computer can only see or hear what it's programmed. What I mean by hearing, it's programming.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I guess, some instruments do listen to what we're saying, which we all have,
they do
have
hear
those on ourselves
Yeah.
with phones and all that good stuff. But I think that AI can be used to generate maybe better types of marketing write-ups or give ideas. And it's like maybe it's a way to say, hey, I want to write up a description about this home. I have some thoughts in my mind. Instead of pinging it to a friend of yours that maybe you would have in the same room, because a lot of people are working from home or in remote environments now.
Yeah.
You're talking to your computer about it, and the computer's throwing out some ideas. And that's where I think AI can be good. Or if there's like a photo that is something that, hey, I love this living room. Can you find me more homes that maybe have a similar feel or look? And that might help some people weed out some homes that they don't. But again, in real estate, the purpose of hiring a great agent and a realtor is for you to say, hey, here's what I'm looking for. Go out and find it.
Yeah.
And that person should be knowledgeable about the community enough to where, hey, this is the right person. I have clients that call me, hey, do you do business up in North Georgia? No, I don't. I don't sell any homes in North Georgia. I will refer out to a market expert up there.
Yeah.
Just like the people in North Georgia will refer me business down here.
Right.
Because when they come inside the perimeter or down 400, they're like, we don't know anything about these neighborhoods. We don't know where the best eatery is for grabbing a great snack or a dessert, or where do we want to go to listen to a good concert tonight? Tell me where to go for a path. That's the realtor.
Yeah.
That's the job of the market expert. And that's what I think the computer is limited, because it's only what can be put into it.
Yeah.
And the person, can't go there and feel and say, hey, that restaurant has an amazing ambience. And when you sit there, sit next to the fireplace, and here's my friend. When you go there, this is the manager. Talk to them, mention John Bailey. They'll make sure you get the very best seat possible.
Yeah.
That's the market expert. That's somebody that is in keeping of their community. And that's what people really want, I think, ultimately. And I appreciate it. I think it's more opportunity for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it would be it's hard to replicate that, because it's such a lived experience. It's a sort of a lived knowledge that you have. It's that knowledge and wisdom from living it out and from being there.
And walking down the street.
Walking there.
Driving down the street. Looking at the wall. Here's a good example. We were looking at a property over by Chastain, and a friend of mine, he's like, John, this is a great buy. I saw it online last night. And I looked at it, I said, that is definitely not a great buy. That home floods. And he's like, what do you mean it floods? It's right over there by Chastain. I said, well, I've driven down that street. And personally, I've already looked at that home to see what it could do. But water actually floods into the basement or the crawl space every time a heavy downpour. And he's like, no, that can't be. That's Chastain. I said, well, tell you what, it's the truth. And I talked to the neighbor. And how did I learn that? I talked to the neighbor across the way. And he's like, come down the street when it pours down the rain. My friend used to own the home. He'd have to pump out water every time it rained because it comes down the surface of the paved streets so hard that it goes into the crawl space. And I said, well, I don't want to live in a home or have anyone else live in a home that literally is pumping out water. I think that's ridiculous. But somebody did buy that home. I don't know if they were disclosed that information or if they found it out after they bought it. But I didn't have my client buy it because I already knew that information. So, but that's me talking to the neighbors. And then I literally drove down when it was pouring down the rain and saw that action happen. I was like, oh, this is horrible. This shouldn't even be allowed to be building here, but it was built there. And, those are things that you're hoping to keep your client out of those troubles. Because I could have just gotten the quick commission. Oh yeah, boom, buy this today.
Yeah.
Call me if there's any problems. 2 months later, heavy rain. John, my basement's flooded. Crawl space is out of control. I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
That's not what a profession's for.
Goes back to integrity.
Integrity and to keep you out of the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's our goal.
So for somebody that is thinking about getting into real estate or is maybe very new into real estate and they're wanting to get their first listing, or maybe they have their first listing coming up, what are some things that you think they should keep in mind? Maybe from your expertise, what's some wisdom that you could give them right now?
I think make sure that you do your market research. Don't just pull up information on the computer and look at comps and walk in there and say, hey, this sold for this sold for that. Let's list for this. Get in there and do the market research. Go walk the properties that are for sale. Call the agents and say, hey, I'm here to do a preview. Go out there on the weekend if it's an area that they're working. Check out the open houses. Get to know what else the competition is, because when you walk into a home, for example, and every home's different, there could be a smell. There could be something about the lot, the way the lighting is. Is it situated where the sun comes up over the front every day, or does it come over, east west? How is it situated? Affects value. Affects maybe why that home sold for less.
Yeah.
So definitely getting the comps, driving the neighborhood, looking at the comps, and if it's already sold, well, okay, drive by that property to see what you see. Oh, shoot, it's across the street from a rundown property. Some people will use Google Maps, which I love Google. It's great. But the thing is, it's not up to date as of today. Yeah. It's when that car drove by with the camera on top to
years
say, hey,
ago.
Could be years ago. It could have been 2 months ago. But you don't know that the home across the street had a burnout. And the burnout happened because, unfortunately, chimney fires are prevalent.
Yeah.
And it's now, who wants to stare at a burnout house? So you never know what it is, but get to know the comps. Would walk the property. As soon as you get there, walk the property, see the truth of the property, because it's very hard to sit at somebody's kitchen table and say, hey, here's your price, but they haven't even walked the property.
Yeah.
Agents do that mistake all the time. Oh, I know the house. It's a 3-2. We sold one down the street. It's in a subdivision. Okay, but what's the condition of the home?
Right.
And then I think talk to the owner about what is their motivation. What is driving them to move? Determine the motivation. Are they looking to just get a price, hoping a number that is hopeful? If we get this, we'll move. Or no, we need to move because we have a new job opportunity outside the state. Or they maybe have an exciting opportunity like, hey, we're having another baby and we need to get into a larger home because we're running out of space.
Yeah.
What is driving their motivation? And then craft that plan to suit their needs and have an honest dialogue with the folks.
Yeah. So be present, go do the market research, and listen.
Listen.
Yeah.
And show up in a timely fashion.
Yeah.
Dress professional. I mean, put on a nice coat, or if it's a lady, a nice blouse.
Yeah.
If it's a man, I think, some guys are doing no tie. If you're going to have a logoed shirt, wear your logoed shirt. Look like a professional showing up. I think, as a professional in the industry, my biggest pet peeve is just people running around and literally they look like they're a buyer and they say, no, I'm the agent.
Right.
And you're like, well, you don't look like an agent. And not saying that you have to be a professional looking person, but you're going in and if, for example, if it's your home that you own, you and your wife, right, have paid a lot of money for the home. It's your home. It's your place where you've made memories. And I show up in flip-flops or, polo and, hey, man, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Driving the cool car. List with me. I can make this happen. Come on. I mean, even if it's your best buddy, act even more professional because they're entrusting you because you are the friend. But at the end of the day, they are ultimately paying for a level of service that you're looking to charge them in a commission. And you need to demonstrate your ability and do a great job.
You need to differentiate yourself. You need to set yourself apart too with that too from from other agents who might not be doing that. That's a really good tip, is present yourself professionally. I think that's like,
show up.
Yeah, that's a good piece of advice for anything that you do, really.
I mean, here's a good example. We all love college football, right? Or soccer or football, pro or baseball. Yeah. When the players step on the field, the team isn't allowing them to wear whatever they want. If it's the Braves, for example, they're in amazing looking uniforms.
Yeah.
If it's your favorite college team, they're showing up dressed and prepared. The coach is dressed and prepared. Hey, we all want to watch it. We're all having a great time. Same thing should be for real estate professionals.
Yeah.
Show up prepared and play the game. I mean, it's be in the game for the right reasons.
That's great. So you have your own brokerage. What was it like starting it? How long ago did you start it? And what was that process like for you?
So I started out with RE/MAX at the time when RE/MAX was number one by size in the Metro Atlanta area. During the recession, and the recession hit when Lehman Brothers went out of business. Later in December of 2007, the broker said, "John, we're closing down shop." And I kept getting agent of the month. And at that time, my dad had remarried, and my stepmom, which I call her mom, was managing my office. She was like, "Don't get a big head just because you're agent of the month. You need to keep pushing forward." And the reason we were agent of the month was, first, we were doing deals in town, and the brokerage office was situated in OTP. So OTP had stopped selling property, but in town was still making it happen because people need to be close to the city.
Yeah.
So when he said, "Hey, we're closing down shop, go find another place to work," I said, "Fantastic. I'm going to open up my own brokerage." So I called a good friend of mine who already had his broker's license, who went to University of Florida, and he manages a brokerage for his father. They have a commercial brokerage company here in Atlanta. And I said, "Could you spot me your license while I get my license?" And he said, "No problem. Only for a few months, because if it's beyond that, I'm going to have to start charging you for my time." I said, "I'll knock it out. No problem." So I took the class, knocked it out in the first test, and never have looked back. And it's been a phenomenal experience because we truly offer a boutique experience, crafted around our clients' needs. And that's something that the big companies can't do. They have to have a format, and there's agents that try to work within that format. But at the end of the day, when you read the fine print of the Georgia law for real estate, you're really underneath that broker, and you can't be putting your phone number on top of the broker's number. You can't have your name bigger than the broker's name. And there's a lot of that still going on today because people are trying to brand themselves away from the brokerage or pretend they don't even have a brokerage. But you can't do that unless you're the broker. Well, we are the broker.
Yeah.
So everything that comes out with our information on it is John Bailey Realty. Our team of agents, we work as a team. We have some independent contractors that are independent outside of the team. But we're branding our agents, the team, and ultimately our clients, because my clients are what's most important. The homes are very, very important. And then so from there, 2007 to now, and then 2021, we opened up an office in St. Simons because of what had happened in 2020 with the lockdowns. I had always loved St. Simons Island. I said, you know what, it's time to go buy a house down there. So we ended up buying a home down there when the market had kind of froze up. Got a really good deal on it.
Nice.
And then from there, I was like, gee, they need some Atlanta type marketing down here on the island, because they were still doing it in a way that was very word of mouth. Maybe you have some decent photos, maybe you don't. No video. What's video? I mean, why do we need video? And I said, well, we could offer a way different plan and bring, professional signage and really bring things up. And I can say that's because of what happened in 2020. Places like St. Simons and other smaller markets have just blown off the charts because of just the flux of people coming in.
Yeah.
And it's been good for us because we have an office there now. We have an office here in Atlanta, so we can go back and forth with our clients and help them find their dream home and help them with their real estate investments.
That's great. Well, John, it's been great having you on the show. I've really enjoyed getting to know your story a little bit more, and I'm sure people watching have gained a lot of insight and some keys, hence the name of the show, to your success. So it's been really great. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been so much fun.
Well, Evan, it's always good to see you, and thank you for having me on the show. And we look forward to staying a part of your podcasts and seeing future videos that you're producing, because I think you have a lot of good ideas, and I'm glad you're doing this. I think it's great for the community, and it's also great for our professional awareness.
Cool. Well, that's the goal. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Where can people go to contact you? Where do you want people to go?
So one aspect is we're on Facebook, Instagram. JohnBaileyRealty.com is our website. That's a phenomenal website. Every home in Atlanta is for sale there. It's updated frequently, within minutes of new listings coming on the market. So it is literally the best place to search for real estate, JohnBaileyRealty.com. And then you can always give us a call at the office, 770-484-7888, or come by and see us at the office. We're right in Buckhead, and happy to set up a consultation or meet with you. Or if you're an agent looking to maybe make a move, give me a call. Love to talk to you.
Well, if you or anybody you know wants to be on the show, just send us a DM on Instagram. Our Instagram is Visually Sold. We'll link all of your stuff down in the description so people can go find you there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and hit that like button if you liked it. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.